Hi guys, welcome back to LawTorials. My name is Elelion, head bar exam coach here at LawTorials, and today I'm just going to be walking you through what you can do to pass the bar exam in the next 21 days. So today, as of the date of this recording, it's July the 1st, and so obviously the bar exam is coming up and it will be on the 26th and the 27th of July. But starting off where we are, I'm going to walk you through what I did in the 21 days leading up to the bar exam. And this is the thing. Some people say, oh, if you don't know it by a month before, you've run out of time, like you wasted the time. No, I believe that anything is fixable, figure outable. You still have time. 21 days, it's not even, you've got more than 21 days. You technically even have up till the day before the bar exam. And I know you should be resting, you should be preparing yourself mentally for the actual exam. But one thing I will say is, if it gives you that peace of mind to look at a few questions the day before the bar exam, as opposed to not touching anything, because what you hear is that everyone needs to just completely rest, do what you have to do to feel the confidence that you need to step into that exam and pass the exam. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the things that I did and the things that you should be doing in the next 21 days. And if you listen to this after the 21-day period, these are still things you can implement every day in your bar prep journey to get you to move the needle and pass the bar exam. Okay? So with that being said, we'll get straight into it. So the first one, and I think it's the most obvious one, is to keep practicing. Keep practicing. Don't stop. The more you practice may not make perfection, but it definitely brings you progress. Expose yourself to as many practice questions as possible. Trust me, you will not regret it. Expose yourself to these questions, do the questions, look at the questions, see if you're being able to issue spots, see if you're how you feel, see your timing. Just keep practicing, because the more you practice, the more you're going to feel more comfortable and the less stressful it'll feel on the day, because you don't want to be sitting there in the exam thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I did more practice, or oh my gosh, or no one's ever going to regret doing the extra practice. I know I certainly didn't. I did so many questions, and a good way to do this, and we'll probably discuss it more in another step, but a good way to do this is just look at what you've done already. See where you've gone wrong, the questions that you've gone wrong on, go back and do them. Keep practicing. Expose yourself to the questions that you got right and wrong and see why. So that's the first one, okay? So now is the time to keep your foot on the gas. It's not a time to slow down. It certainly wasn't for me. This was the time where I was more focused than ever. And one thing to think about, if you're ever losing hope, just think, you could be 5 practice questions away from passing, or you could be 3 essays away from passing, or you could be 2 more MPTs away from passing. And what I mean by that is, you could, by doing those extra questions, by keeping that practice going, you could be exposed to a question that may come up, something similar may come up on the actual exam, in which it will help you. You'll be like, wow, I remember this scenario. It was very similar. Obviously, you should go in with a clean slate. But what I'm saying is, you could be 10 more questions away from passing. So don't stop. Just figure it out, put it into your schedule, and we'll get to that more in the next step. But then number 2 would be to review. And I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but number 2 is to review. So practicing without reviewing, I don't want to say it's almost pointless, but it's very detrimental. Because if you're just practicing, you're not reviewing why you got the answer right or why you got the answer wrong, you may be going in with a blind you're going in blindly and with a false confidence that, oh my gosh, yeah, I got 70 out of 100 on this practice test, so I'm all good. That may not be the case. It may be the case, and kudos to you, but if it's not the case, you want to know that. You want to know that I've done the practice. Yes, I got the questions right to an extent, but actually this one that I got right, for me, for example, when I used to review my questions, I would realize that some of the ones I got right was just a mere guess, and I actually didn't know the law behind it. So once I reviewed it, I went back to understand what the law is. I made sure that I was understanding where I was going right and where I was going wrong, so that I could focus on my weaker areas, and that's where I would start to prioritize. So the whole idea of studying smarter, I'm not going to make it as a whole step, because it's something that at this point you are where you are. So what you could do now to change that instead is to look at these weaker areas, and don't be afraid to go back to the roots. Don't be afraid to go back to the foundation of the law. If you see you just keep getting a similar pattern of questions wrong, Go back to the roots, go back to your textbook, go back to your outlines, go back and watch a 5-minute video. You could be a 5-minute video on the rule of perpetuity from passing. You could be that could be the one thing that helps you understand something that you're not quite getting. Yes, it's true that you can prioritize things that come up more frequently, but what I would say is where you see there's something, if you see a pattern, don't ignore it, fix it now. Now's the time, you still have time, and that could be what takes you across that mark to passing, okay? Number 3 is to memorize. Commit the stuff that you're learning to your memory, actively memorize. And I don't just mean by practicing over and over again. Yes, naturally, you're gonna become more and more familiar, but don't bypass the memorization part. Do things that will actively help you commit this stuff into your memory, because sometimes you don't know the answer to the question because you simply don't know the law, and you don't know the law because you haven't memorized it. Because how many times have you done a question and then you've gone back, you got it wrong, but then you're like, oh, I knew that, right? So deep down somewhere, I mean, you guys have been through law school, you're at where you are for a reason. So the stuff is going to be there somewhere. But if you don't actively try and memorize, or actively commit to memorizing and actively committing this stuff to your memory, it's not going to be as easy as just, I practice so many questions, I know the law automatically. So don't forego that memorization. Find your little tips and tricks. I'll make a separate video on memorization altogether for anyone. Actually, people have asked me. Normally, nobody asks, but people have asked me, so I will make a separate video on that. So that's number 3, okay? Right, so number 4 is to make yourself a checklist, a tracker, a progress report. You want to have sight of everything that you want to cover between now and the bar exam. If there are some things that you know you can't, that's fine. Just have sight of it and then decide, what are you going to tackle? Add it to your diary. Make a plan. Like literally, if you've had a plan up to this point and it hasn't gone to plan, that's okay. We are where we are. Today is today. It is what it is. But what I would say for you to do is get whatever you've got left to do, lay it out, list everything, make a checklist, and then just allocate it. Okay, so today I'm going to do this, and this. Imagine you want to do another 300 questions before the bar exam. And I'm very much an advocate of quality of practice and review over quantity. But say, okay, let's just use 300, right? Say you had 300, because I did use a calculator for this before. 300 questions that you want to do between now and 21 days time. Divide 300 by 21, and that's like 14 questions a day. Let me just confirm. Hold on. I did do this before. That's why I used the number 300. But maybe 300 divided 14.2857143 questions a day. Okay, so let's just round it up to 15 questions a day. That is so doable. Don't forget, you will be doing, sorry to burst your bubble, but you will be doing 200 questions in one day. That's what they expect of you. So at this point, you know, the more practice, the better, and try and do that practice in testing conditions. Again, if you have to go back to a foundation before you carry on practicing, do that and then keep the practice going. Okay, so that is number 4. Also, with that, it's going to help you feel a bit more at peace in terms of, okay, you know what you've said you're going to do and you've done this much of it. Every day, and we'll get to this, but every day check where you are on your progress report. If it didn't get done, then get it done the next day. Don't put things off. Just do what you have to do now, and then you can celebrate and relax and do everything else you want to do later, okay? This is crunch time. Right, so number 5 is to make yourself unavailable to distractions. Like, for real. During this period, people need to understand that you're about to take one of the biggest exams that is going to shape your career. And again, for those who have repeated, okay, I would know, yes, it's an exam that is going to define how the next steps of your career go. But don't forget, it doesn't define you as a person. I just want to put that out there. Passing or failing does not define who you are as a person or what you are capable of achieving, okay? I just want to put that out there. But when it comes to this season, the whole month of July until after that exam, I had birthdays I said no to. My mom's birthday is in July, and I had a July sitting, and I did celebrate with her for like a very short period of time, but I didn't do anything above things that I would do outside of a normal break, and she was very understanding of that. People around you have to be understanding that this is the time where you really need to hone in and focus on doing the things that are going to make you reach your goals on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and of course the bigger goal of passing this bar exam. So eliminate distractions completely, remove distractions around whatever it is, and we'll go back to assessing yourself. That's one of the last points, but figure out what it is that you need to eliminate. What do you need to do in the next 21 days? Or what do you need to get rid of in the next 21 days or 26 days, however many? What do you need to do to help you focus on the things that you have to do? Because you need to do the things you need to do the things that you need to do. And I promise that makes sense. If you just think about it, reflect on it, it does make sense. Okay, so if you have to get rid of, even if you have to change your environment, if you realize the environment you've been studying in has not been serving you well, we out. We're going somewhere else to study until we hit that bar exam. Okay, so that was number 5. Okay, so the next one, number 6, is that if you have to, find yourself a tutor or find someone to help keep you accountable. It doesn't even have to be someone who's studying law. It doesn't even have to be someone who's taking the bar exam. If you realize you're struggling with accountability, or if you need someone to check in on you every day, if you need someone to just explain an extra piece of law to you that you don't understand, just find yourself that tutor, find yourself that person. And no, don't be ashamed also. Don't be ashamed or don't feel like you can't at this stage still get a tutor. It's never too late for anything until it's too late, of course. But in this case, you still have time if that's what you need to do. And you can find tutors instantly, literally instantly, online. They're everywhere. And hello, right here, I'm a tutor and I'm still taking on people up until pretty much the weekend before the bar exam, just because I thought back at myself and I'm like, yes, there are things I need to do, but I just need someone to explain this to me one more time. Or I just need to talk my thoughts through with someone. And this especially goes for people who self-studied like myself. That's something that may just give you that confidence to realize, okay, thank you. So instead of you spending hours and hours, that's the whole point of having a tutor or a coach to help you save time. You can spend hours trying to figure it out yourself, or you could just hire someone to teach it to you until you get it. And normally that could be within a time frame of less than an hour. So just think about that and use your time really wisely. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Do what you have to do, whatever it takes, whatever you need to do to feel confident and comfortable taking that exam. You still have the time to do it now. Don't let the exam pass and then start wishing, oh, I wish I did this, because shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Okay, so we're going to wrap up and now we're going to move on to number 7, which is like a three-part step, which is, I was trying to be cool, so it's BAR, B-A-R, and I'm just going to walk you through each of them quickly. So the B stands for believe in yourself, okay? Believe in yourself and literally, really, trust me, your mindset and the way you think and approach this exam goes a long way. You may not think it, but trust me, from somebody who's done it several times, I noticed that one of the biggest things that changed was my mindset, my approach towards the exam. And just literally, okay, so somebody who believes that success is literally right around the corner has more of motivation, has more of a skip in their step. I know that's not the real way of saying it, but you know, they have more vim, or they're going to be more pumped up, okay, than somebody who it's like, oh my gosh, I really am really anxious about this. And feeling anxious is completely normal, by the way. Okay, I had a panic attack before my last bar exam, and that was probably my first ever, or second maybe. And so these feelings will come, but if you consciously decide to believe in yourself and believe that you will pass and visualize and I told myself every single day before every single session that I was going to pass that exam, and I did. That's one thing I can say for sure that I did every single day. Every session before I started, I said, I am going to pass this exam. On the day, I have footage, and if I have time, I will slot it in. I have footage of me telling myself I've passed this exam before the exam was even over, okay? So this is something that really goes a long way, just in your approach and your attitude, in the way you prepare. You believing in yourself and having that positive mindset, and I know it sounds cliche, I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. They're like, okay, this is all wishy-washy. I don't have time for this right now, but it's something, trust me, just try it. You got 21 days, 26, or whenever you watch this, try it and see the difference that it makes even in you and your approach to bar prep. You're going to do more. You're going to show up for yourself more, okay? Sorry, had to do that, had to say that because it's not something that you hear all the time, but it's so important. Okay, so the A in bar is assess yourself frequently. And I'm not just talking about reviewing the questions and going back at your answers. Assess yourself. How do you feel mentally? How do you feel physically? How do you feel emotionally, spiritually? How do you feel right now? And if there's something that you need to shift in order to get yourself back on track, then that's what you need to do. For example, a physical assessment I did, I realized that I was getting headaches frequently during the study period. And I was like, what is this? And I remembered, oh yeah, I've been prescribed glasses. I'm supposed to be wearing glasses. I'm looking at screens all day, every day, and I need my glasses. And I was like, wow, okay, ordered my glasses and the headaches pretty much went away. Assess yourselves. Do what you have to do to make it easier, the least path of resistance, okay? Do that. And if you need to check in with someone, if you need someone to talk to, if you just need to take a day off, that might be all you need to get yourself back into the routine. Okay, if you need to take an hour off, assess yourself. Don't slack, but assess yourself. Listen to your body, listen to how you're feeling, and that also goes a long way. And then the R in bar is reward yourself. Celebrate yourself every single day for waking up and even opening a book or opening a practice set of questions or doing an essay. Remind yourself that what you're doing is big and you're achieving these small little things, this compound effect, bit by bit by bit. You're doing the things that you have to do. So appreciate yourself for that. Recognize yourself, acknowledge yourself, and reward yourself, whether it's, okay, tonight I can have a hot bath, or today I'm gonna eat this or do that. Literally just reward yourself, and it will just make the process just that little bit easier, okay? And then also think of the reward that you'll give yourself when you've completed the exam and when you've passed the exam, okay? Keeping these things in mind and keeping the end goal in sight really helps just keep that tunnel vision in all the way through to the end of your bar prep journey. Okay, so that concludes everything that I was doing in the last 21 days running up to the bar exam. And these are the things that you should be doing to ensure that you really make that impact and you're really actually doing the things you need to do to pass. Not just busy work, not just keeping yourself busy, but you're actually ticking off the things that you need to do to pass this exam. And it may take some change, it may take some adjustment. You may feel uncomfortable, but what I learned was in that time, in order for you to really gain yourself, you have to lose yourself. And I know it's a bit of a cliche saying, or if you don't understand it, what I really mean by that is break away from your old habits, even just for 21 days. Break away from the things that are distracting you from reaching your goal. At the end of the day, this is your goal. And there are certain things that you know may still be in your way right now, okay? So break away from that. And what I also mean by that is sometimes just give someone an opportunity to help you. For example, I'm a tutor, a bar exam tutor and a bar exam coach. I've been through it. I've learned from the mistakes, and I'm so passionate about helping others and making sure that they don't go through the same mistakes that I made. So doesn't even have to be me. It could be anyone that's in your vicinity. It could be a mentor. It could be somebody at your law school. Whoever you've got available to you, use those resources to help you if you need it, okay? So with that being said, I do just want to make sure you know that I am still open to taking on students up till the weekend before the bar exam. So I believe that's like up till the 24th, if you need it. And I also have some exciting news. So before we get out of here, I just want to take the opportunity to invite you to, and I'm very excited about this, the LawTorials Bar Prep Bootcamp. It's a 3-day intensive bootcamp. It's the MBE, the MEE, and the MPT, obviously, because that's what we'll be covering on the bar exam itself. And this isn't anything passive, okay? This is quite intense. It's not passive. We don't have time for passive learning right now. This is active stuff all the way through. So we'll start off each day with a mini mock exam in time testing conditions, of course, at the comfort of your home, just to really get you comfortable and seeing how you do in that timed exam condition, okay? And then we're going to be reviewing the questions, going over the law, going over the weak areas, and really just seeing where people are so that they can see what they need to do in their own time to improve, and then going through best practices for answering whether it's the MBE, MEE, or MPT, as well as taking Q&A so that you can really just get the questions off your chest that you may still have burning even up at that stage. And although, yes, it is quite close to the bar exam, it's literally the week before, the consensus is from the people that I've spoken to and the students that I've been working with is that sometimes even in that last hour or in that final stretch, it's the things that you do then that really have made the difference. So don't be afraid. Don't feel like it's too close to the exam, or don't feel ashamed that you're at that point and you still need help. That's the whole point. As I said, it's 3 hours per day. You can choose to come to one day, or you could come to all 3 days. The information is in the description box below. So that's 9 hours, okay? Let's think about it. It's 9 hours out of a 168-hour week, okay? These 9 hours could literally change your life. And I'm going to say it with my chest, because we will be going through the stuff that you need to be going through anyway. You'll be doing it with your practice, but you'll have coaching from myself. I'm an attorney. I've passed the bar exam. I'll have some other people on as well. And then you'll have accountability in the group that you can just really just go back and forth and get those burning questions off your chest. So it is a boot camp. So you will be doing the drills. I really do believe in pushing my students so that they can really just stretch them, to challenge them, so that they can get the results that they really need. We don't have time for slacking, okay? So it is a boot camp. So be prepared to be drilled. And then obviously there are options to tutor with myself personally, or upgrade where you can get your MPTs or MEEs marked by me and have a tutoring session as well. But all that information is in the description box below. So I hope to see you there. Thank you so much. Keep believing in yourself. Keep knowing that you can and will pass this exam. And I will see you at the next video.